Dave from the Redneck Garage. Well, I was given just a beautiful present of my son Christian's Jeep. He's on a retreat this weekend with the senior high, and the other night he calls up and says my truck won't start. So I go over and it started right up. Next night. Good thing he washes it, huh? Yeah. First thing you do is always check the easy stuff, man, before you start pulling the motor out. You can crank it once, see what happens. Oh, it's dead. We're going to hook the jumper cables up to it. First thing you want to do is pull codes on it, see if there is any. No powertrain DTC free from da 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 da. Okay, and the readiness isn't ready, so that's bad. I'm magic.
It hasn't done that the whole time.
So my diagnostic skills are awesome. It started right up.
I've been doing that for 2 days.
Wow.
Was it because the battery died and you came back on?
I don't know. Shouldn't be, unless it was something with the ECM. So, no check engine light. So for right now, till we pick this video back up when it dies again, no clue. Next night, does the same thing. All right, so Christian came back today, the next day, and said that there's codes, the check engine light's on, so we're going to test the codes again, see what we got. Camshaft position sensor A, circuit bank 1 or single sensor, PO340. Alright, so I just stole the cap, the rotor, and the pickup coil off of the 2.5. There's really no cam sensor in there. I've taken the, I mean, it's not like I haven't had it completely apart. You can see right there that the contacts are bad. Now whether that's bad spark plugs or, you know, I'm not sure. We'll put a new cap, swap this out with the contactor and see what happens. So here it is, Christian's Jeep, and I thought it was something simple. Obviously I was wrong. I've been messing with this thing the past couple of days. There's no spark, so I've put a crank sensor on it, put a cam sensor, if that's what you want to call it, a used one. I switched them to make sure that it wasn't messed up. Cap, rotor, ECM I did not change. So we're going to see what the hell is wrong with this thing this weekend. Pull codes and says it's a cam sensor, so I swapped that out and that doesn't make a difference. So now I'm in the diagnostic mode of trying to figure out what's wrong with this stinking thing. And I've changed a lot of parts. Unfortunately, the battery on it was worn out, so I got a new battery, and now the starter's crap. So now I got to put a starter on it. So this has just been a great adventure for me. But I thought it'd be fun to take a look at what's wrong and how to diagnose it. So let's get going. So when you're young and you don't know how to fix a truck, and your truck won't start, the best thing to do is to keep turning the key over till it completely drains the battery and go long enough that it destroys the starter. So now I've got a new battery in it. I've got to put a new starter in because both of those got toasted from the continuous cranking when the truck wouldn't start. So there you go. If your vehicle doesn't start, continually cranking it isn't going to help you. It's just going to destroy something. So that before I can do anything else to the truck, I got to put a new starter on it because it's completely toasted. All right, so all that effort just to get back to frickin' zero, man. We got a new starter on, I got a new battery, so I've got my remote starter switch hooked up. I'm going to see if it cranks over. At least that way I can start diagnosing what's wrong with this stinking thing. There we go. Got my battery charger hooked up. We're going to let it charge up the battery because it's down a little bit. And then I'm going to start doing some diagnostic on it. Oh, awesome. All right, I've already done a lot of diagnostic on this stupid thing. Put a new cap, new rotor, try the coil on it. So the first thing I'm going to check is to make sure that I'm getting power at the distributor. Because if there's no power at the distributor, then there's always obviously an issue probably with the low voltage from the computer. If I had a DRB3, which is about $3 grand, I could probably see that on the scanner, but I don't have that kind of scanner. I have a snap-on scanner, but I don't have the right personality key for it. So awesome, I'm so happy about that today. we're going to check to see if there's any voltage at the distributor itself going to the pickup coil, and if there's not, then we got to go back from there. If there is, we'll see what's going on. All right, so we got power at the distributor. It should be over 4 volts, right? It's not 12 volts, it comes off the computer. And when I hooked that up, then I heard relays click in. So I'm gonna plug that back in and see if I hear anything. Man, this is just old school trying to figure out what the heck's going on with it. Now, whether I'm getting a signal from the distributor or not, I still should be able to get spark from the coil. So I'm gonna check that next. I'm gonna take the coil wire off and see if I'm getting power coming. I'm getting an arc from the coil to ground because that's where your power comes in. All right, so I got a page out of the service manual, and basically this is the diagnosis and testing for the coil and no spark. So we're going to go through what it says here. So this will help me determine the starting procedures on it. Okay, that's the end of today's fun adventure with the Cherokee. Today made me feel somewhat crippled because I didn't have a scanner. I don't have the right personality key for my Snap-on scanner. I've ordered one. It's supposed to be in. I'd like to have, and I may invest in a really high-end scanner because usually you can drill down and find what you need to. With that, kind of like my buddy Jerry from BS Corner has, that kind of scanner would really probably pinpoint what's wrong with it exactly rather than doing a lot of diagnostic work. But nevertheless, I've replaced the cap, the rotor, the pickup coil, the crank sensor, and the cam pickup, and still no spark, so all that points back to the PCM. I've got power coming into the individual components, but once I get the personality key for my Snap-on scanner, we'll go through that and I'll show you what it actually shows. You should be able to go through each individual component and it'll say if it's got voltage or not voltage, and you know, it's got a troubleshooter in it. It's old technology, but this is a 1998 model truck, so hopefully that'll work. I ordered another ECM on eBay, which is remanufactured. It's going to be shipped probably Monday, and it'll probably be in Wednesday. So that's kind of where we're at, but it's really frustrating when you get a no spark condition and you go through everything, and if it ends up being the PCM, you know, that's the last thing that you want it to be. Anyway, we'll get this dang thing running, and I'll get some parts to put back on my Jeep because I've stolen a lot to put on the Cherokee. Most of them are the same. The starter's actually different. The one takeaway that I would say is that if your truck doesn't start and you continue just to crank it and crank it and crank it, eventually you're going to have to buy a battery and a starter, and that's what I had to do. Anyway, continue on watching to see if I can get this thing running or not. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.